Mary Frances and I, we've had technical issues every single time we've tried this, and we are good this time, right, Mary Frances?
Yes, we are. Finally, technology is on our side today.
That's right. So this time I actually get to speak with you, which is awesome. Can you tell us what's been going on in Van Buren? What kind of updates do you have for us this week?
Well, we are still operating at 50%. The offices are still open. You can still contact any of the offices, the town clerk, codes, assessor, parks and rec, highway, just with the regular phone numbers that are on the town website. You can also email all of those. Just a reminder that the town office is not open to the public. We've had people come in and try and open the door. We don't have anybody coming in, but there is a drop box right next door to the regular post box, mailbox, so they can drop anything in there that they want. And we do check that 2 or 3 times a day. So if they're leaving anything of importance, we bring it in, and then it's sorted and given to the department it needs to go to.
What kind of things would they be bringing in, Mary Frances? Just curious, you know.
For handicap parking permits, plans that need to go to the codes office, applications for building permit, any documentation, any checks that have to go with along with the codes application. And off the top of my head, maybe assessment information that they are providing to the assessor.
Okay. I was just curious. A couple of people, the mayor's mentioned it, and Bob Wicks has mentioned it, and I was just kind of curious as to what that documentation was. So, thank you. So, what else has been going on?
The highway guys are back in, are back out working. I'm not exactly sure what other than lawn repairs that they are doing at this time. And again, because we only have 50% staff, each own truck, they have their masks, they have their gloves, they are working independently. And as far as I know, they're in trucks all week while they're here, and then they go ahead and inspect it every night. So it's not a matter of changing vehicles. It's one person in a vehicle and keeping it as sanitary as we can.
That makes sense.
We have gotten calls for the codes office, and I've gotten some emails and texts asking about open burning. Apparently people have a lot of time on their hands, so they're out cleaning up their yard, as I think a lot of us are. And do open burning for sticks, tree limbs, branches, but not until May 15th. Okay. And open burning only means the trees, sticks, whatever. Nothing else is allowed in open burning.
Okay.
So do try and do something, and a neighbor calls you in to the codes office or to a fire department because they just see it raging out of control, that will be a violation of town code.
Okay. So just so I'm clear, after May 15th, was it May 15th or May 5th they could burn? 15th. So after May 15th, they can burn, but it still has to be small twigs, branches, things like that. Okay.
Nothing else. And we have had complaints, and we've had residents over the course of time that have put in trash, they've put in papers, plastics, and that just isn't allowed.
Okay.
Actually, other than that, there's not a whole lot going on, just like in any other business, but we are still here taking phone calls. Lynn Freecourt, the town clerk, is at home taking them and doing emails. Kate Halloran, our deputy town clerk, is here 2 or 3 times a day, trying to keep things going as much as normal.
And you did say that you were going to try and have the May meeting, the board meeting in May at some point?
Yes. our May 5th board meeting. Yep, May 5th. We're going to do it live on Facebook on our town website. And
Oh,
that will
cool.
give us the opportunity to have people go ahead and send in questions and comments.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Facebook Live, you'll reach quite a bit of an audience that way. So that's cool.
Right.
And then if I see it, I can share it too. What's that?
Okay.
Okay.
Because we're doing it live via Facebook, we have to do extra notifications so that people can have access to it. So, and this will be our first foray. The town clerk and the town engineer and the supervisor, we have all been trying to figure out how to make this go best. Normally, our meetings are recorded and put on PAC-B. They've never been done live before, but that is something that we're working with PAC-B to see if going forward, there's a way for them to stream it live, and then they also record it and they can play it back at a different time.
Yeah, nice. And they are PAC-B because I work with them quite a bit. They are coming up with the streaming software and stuff with Zoom, which has capability to stream straight to Facebook, which is nice if they do that. And there's other software programs out there as well. So I know the Village of Baldwinsville, they did a Zoom, or no, they did a live meeting. Or a Zoom meeting, and they said that everything that you do always has hiccups, right? Every time, but you got to work through them. The only way that you know there's hiccups is by working through them. So maybe the first time you do a Facebook Live, there could be a lot of hiccups, but you're doing it, and then you can just build off of that. So that's awesome.
Part is going to be having a camera that can everybody in that's on that meeting, all the board members, the town engineer, the highway superintendent, the town clerk, the attorney. When we do it, as we did in the March 17th meeting, we were all socially distanced. So again, we will continue to do that, where PAC-B has one camera faced at the main dais, and then we'll just swivel over to one other. Now you basically have almost people at 270 in that conference room. So that's going to be the interesting part about this, but we're going to make it work.
Oh, you totally will. And I'm curious. I'm curious about your meeting. Don't get me wrong, but now I'm curious about. This is what is so cool to me about this whole pandemic is to see how people are making things work. The different levels in thought process and creativity. So that's a new one. I haven't heard that one yet, and I think that's really cool that you guys are going to try that. So I can't wait to hear about how it goes. What's the date of that meeting?
It'll be Tuesday, March 5th. The meeting starts at 7 p.m. The work session is at 6:30 p.m. So people can chime in as early as 6:30. And then I do know we're having we'll have our 2 regular town board meetings in May, and we will also have I believe it's 2 planning board meetings. The first one will be May 26th rather than the second Tuesday of the month, and then they'll turn around and do their June 9th planning board meeting because they have live public hearing. And again, we will have a public hearing coming up in early June. So we're going to have to figure out how that can happen. And just make sure once you have a public hearing, you have to have the residents talk to us, live.
Yeah. I'm curious, and I know I get off topic, but in case you can't tell, my eyes light up when I think of, going live and the different ways of doing things. But the nice thing is I think whatever gets implemented now really will change. I don't see people going back to how they were doing it, because think of all the people that probably wanted to attend your meetings and they couldn't because they couldn't get out, or it was snowing that night, or you know what I mean? So if this is something that works and you can find a way to implement it for the future, how much better informed can the community be because these changes are going to be put in place? I think that's awesome.
Yes, it's going to be very interesting to see how much more resident input we get from this. So you're right. People may not have been able to get out or didn't want to because of pouring rain or the possibility of snow, which we get very little around here. Or if they're home with kids and they had planned on coming and something happened at the last minute, you know, they can just put it on TV and or on Facebook and watch it live that way. So yeah,
Yeah.
it'll definitely be a lot more hands-on for the people.
Very cool. So, all right. Well, I'm such a, as always, kind of a goober when it comes to certain things like the village of Baldwinsville, the community of Baldwinsville, the school district of Baldwinsville, and now apparently the way that town boards run their meeting gets me all excited as well. But thank you so much for being here today with me. And we had some volume issues still throughout the interview, but at least for the most part, we were able to communicate. So that's awesome. Thank you very much for being here, Mary Frances.
Listening to you just the last 10 seconds. So other than that, at least we got it to work today, and I'm sure the next time it'll go even better.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having this to get a sense that we are still here. We still are working for them. And if they have questions, we want to be here to take care of them.
No, and it's super good to know. And again, the people that are behind the running of Baldwinsville, I knew some people before this all happened. I'm meeting more like yourself, and I'm just thrilled for the people that step up and take care of everything. So thank you very much. Talk to you soon, Mary Frances.